we both taught in the same school system, and Mark was in the high school and I was in the middle school, and out of 100 teachers in this school district, they were going to cut about a quarter of them. And so we knew one or both of us were going to lose our jobs.
There was always the possibility that I wasn't going to be there the next year. There was no job security because of the way schools are being funded, and you see it in the news continuously about layoffs, things of that nature, and not having a job, not the possibility, okay, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? Well, okay, I don't function that way.
Every year worrying if you're going to have a job or not.
Yeah, exactly right. So
it's not a way to live.
So, and that right now has been the impetus for us is we need to be in charge of our own destiny. This friend of mine and I were lamenting the fact that at that time you couldn't bait deer in the lower peninsula anymore. And then we said, well, what are they doing with all of those sugar beets that they use to bait deer? And then, well, of course, we were having drinks, and so we said, well, what can you make out of sugar beets? And so he called a friend of his and said, his friend said, well, it's sugar, can't you make rum out of it? And so we said, well, I don't know, can you make rum out of it? In that mix was when we got the idea about the distillery.
Caught them peeking in the store window. They saw for rent there, and I was going by and I saw them peeking in the window. And so I stopped and talked to them, and so they gave me their secret away that they were studying for distilling. Oh, perfect. I've been complaining for years that we don't have a good, passionate fufu drinks. I love fufu drinks, but good quality ones with homemade mixes and not the bought stuff. Isn't that a beauty?
Oh, man.
We're not even to the center.
What we're going to do, the wood that we just cut, part of that, and we'll cut more at a later date, but part of that, our bar is going to go here. Every level, here. There's that trepidation continuously with this, and to have, having those layers taken away as we're going with this, early on we get the approval for it, and to be able to put it here, and now we make this transition every step of the way.
Very anxious on every level.
Yes, financially for our daughter, for our family, where we're moving, is it, business-wise, is it right? Family-wise, is it right?
And Zoe being our only child and wanting to do right by her, and knowing that we needed to make this move, so we knew we were going to do it, but how do we transition her into a good environment?
I was worried about meeting all the kids and see how they would react, and that turned out great. They were really nice and friendly. That was really the only thing I was really worried about.
We've had all of these pieces kind of out there, all kind of going around, and now they all seem to be falling into place and coming home to where we had hoped they would. So we ordered it in January, and it was supposed to be here the middle of May at the latest. Well, I think we counted up the other day, it's 10 or 11 weeks late. The initial thought for us was we were going to open Memorial Weekend. Then we pushed that up and we figured sometime in June. And then we decided sometime in July. And now we're into August.
It's just a waiting game. You hurry up and get to a point, and then you wait.
The whole alcohol infrastructure, I guess you would say, from the state level to the Fed level, is slower than anticipated on a lot of things. The TTB, which is a fantastic agency, they're dealing with, 10 years ago there were 20 distilleries in the U.S. and there's 450 now.
We worked so hard to get to that point, and we were there. This still was just the last important, albeit, but last piece in the puzzle.
When the still arrived, normally the still manufacturers will send somebody in to help you assemble the still. I got the still here late on a Thursday, and I wasn't waiting. It was done by Sunday, completely, utterly ready to roll Sunday. Hits this is a condenser. There's cold water going through this and condenses out, and voila, you have 95% ethanol. About 4 years ago, we were having cocktails at a friend of ours' house, and we were discussing that you couldn't bait deer in the Lower Peninsula anymore, and I said, well, what are people doing with all the sugar beets? And he said, well, it's sugar. Can you make rum out of it? And I said, I don't know. So I started researching and found out that no, you couldn't. You could make vodka and other things about it. And here I am 4 years later.
I don't want to work a job till 6, 7 o'clock at night and then go home and then enjoy my life. I don't like what I do. It's such a huge part of life. I can work hard on my advertising or paperwork. And that way we're certainly working our own destiny.
I'm 5th generation, German Irish immigrant here in the U.S., and my great-great-grandfather came over from Germany, started a farm on the shores of Lake Michigan south of Frankfurt. They were tough people. And then the next generation were farmers, manufacturers, blue-collar workers. My dad got an education, was a teacher. I did kind of the same thing, but now it's a progression into doing your own thing, not working for somebody else. My family made a living in Alberta for a lot of years working for the railroad. It's not there anymore. Well, what do? You have to reinvent yourself, and that's what's going on in the U.S. right now is, people are struggling with it. Have I become soft? Are we soft, because things aren't going our way? Yeah, I think we are. I mean, it's tough to go, well, I can't do it. I can't do this. Well, you know what? My great-great-grandfather couldn't do it either, but he hopped on a ship without speaking the language and came across and dug it out of the wilderness, man. Yeah, you can do it.
I don't know a lot of wealthy people. I don't know people who are born into money and don't have to work or can start their business, a business like this, with family money. I personally just don't know a lot of those people. I think it's because I live in rural Michigan. And a lot of us are just making it. And now that's bad, that's just what happens here.
My mother and father are in the basement bottling and labeling. I just got done from doing bottling 200 bottles of Deer Camp vodka, so we just bottled that. So they're down labeling and casing and getting those all done now. And then my mother-in-law Jenny is up here, and she is the bartender extraordinaire as well as doing tastings. And then my wife Mandy, of course.
It's been certainly an effort, truly from the beginning, with everybody that we know helping us. I don't know that we could have done that without them.
The pay for the relatives is not exceptional, but the perks are really, really good. It's been one of those, the old cliche, it takes a village, but it really has with this endeavor. Yeah, we've pushed through and haven't given up, and sure, we'll take that as a compliment, but we couldn't have done this without everybody else's help. I mean, the guys at Michigan State, the guys in Germany for the still manufacturers, my cousin the architect, my uncle the plumber, Jim and Madeline Hodak, and I mean, we can go on and on. All of our investors, and I mean, it is an endless stream of people that have latched on to this dream of ours and said, yeah, we believe you can do it, man. Let's go. And here we are. And we're doing it. It's still taxing, but in a finer, better way. So I guess the way that we dreamt that it would be, and here it is. If you believe in it, don't give up ever, because if it was easy, guess what? Everybody'd be doing it, and not everybody's doing this.